or one of your friend kind of faces. All right, wait up. Okay. All right, this one there, right? Okay. So I want to give you guys some sort of example that there is a lot of option for you guys to execute your assignments. All right. The things that I actually have been introduced to you guys is only a foundations there. All right. It's not basically an actual kind of, it's basically not going to be the things that you're going to, the tactics that you just should or must follow as a leader, okay, to work on that. You have to improvise a little bit from there. All right. The thing is right now, when I actually go through with most of the result from your friend, because we have around 45 minutes of working on your own, but I'm asking one of your friend, they were called at your course reps, which is Cindy, actually have opened up and share her screen, and I actually can actually monitor, right, okay, how actually she's working on with her own kind of way of illustrate those kind of faces there, okay, controlling those kind of strokes there, right. I find out that if you're not actually really practice your kind of skills, which is not only we're talking about illustration skills there again, which is some of the most of us always have this kind of negative thought there, right? I don't have any patience, I don't have any passions, I don't actually put myself interest on the things that I've learned there, right? Okay, all this kind of, for me, is a way out there, right? It's actually one of the excuses that you put yourself into it for the most of the times, for not actually making something that you're going to learn a little bit more close to yourself there, okay? That means that you not actually find your own way to execute those kind of learning experience by producing your own kind of way there, okay? But which is the way that you actually choose, were recognizable, and it's a part of the movement of what you've learned so far, right, in graphic design. Okay, I think the most simplest way, okay, you're not actually using all this kind of principle and element of design when you actually develop your kind of body of works there. That's why when I actually ask this kind of question, okay, how about your group kind of works for your FYP? Okay, my friend will do better than me. Okay, we're using this kind of applications. Okay, so those kind of application that you guys have been working on, right, okay, lately, okay, or previously, okay, maybe I'm not actually used to work with it, okay, but it's only applications there. But what makes you felt when you learn about those kind of applications that can change the way that you look at your design sense different than anyone else there, right? Who doesn't learn about design? That's basically that I actually have matters there, okay, that actually really concerned there, okay, about graphic design student or multimedia student, same there, the same there. Because I have these two person in one group, in my groups, two groups, okay, basically in multimedia subjects. Okay, I just want to talk to you guys, okay, just share with you guys here, okay. What I've saw basically, this is not only happens this semester, I've seen a lot of this thing happens for so many years there. But I have to talk to you guys about it, okay? But that basically, this person, okay, these two person basically in degree there, it's not diploma, okay, degree there, right, okay? So that means they actually more seniors higher than you there, okay? And they should be more experienced than you. But the problem is, even though in degree there, okay, whether you actually are going to be continue your works until PhD, for example, there, right, okay? Not Pizza Hut delivery there, okay? PhD there, okay? doctorate or whatever it is, okay, their postgraduate kind of what we call that degree there, right? Okay? If you not make your own changes there, when you learn something but you don't make your own changes there, you don't actually swim and dive inside what you can actually produce as individuals, okay, as a creative person there, okay, that can be defined as your unique way to approach, and people still can connect it there, right? Okay, what you do, we not actually just short scenery, for example, or SS there, okay, you feel that you're right but it's not right there, okay, it won't make any kind of difference there from you that you spend 2.5 years maybe or 3 years, okay, learning there, okay, take your degrees, but there is nothing changes from there, and you might going to be turned out maybe there, okay, not doing or working towards to what you've learned there, okay. A lot of people do like that because maybe they use the design sense they have to do something else that is okay there, okay. But if you choose to become what you want to do from what you've learned there, right, okay, you must be able to pursue yourself and develop that kind of passions along the way. You have to push yourself you have to force yourself to be at that kind of particular kind of situations there. So right now, basically, okay, when I actually look at this lady, kind of what we call that faces there, all right, your friend there, okay, I get some of the ideas because I'm also feel bored to doing the same thing all the times, all right, the same thing there all the time. I will feel bored there, okay, unless that kind of way or techniques is going to be quite practical for me to execute, and they give me more enjoyment to develop further there, right, okay, that kind of things there, it can be. For example, okay, when you talk about styles of illustration, I'm actually discussed with you a lot about styles and illustration other than using the tools there, okay, because the tools that we actually using is only the tools there, but how creative you develop that kind of tools in different kind of way is basically up to your efforts there, right, okay. So for example there, right, okay, if I want to make some, when I actually want to make my own animations there, in my own productions animations there, okay, a lot of people basically try to pursue me, okay, to do something a bit more similar to the common kind of animation styles there, okay, but I felt that if basically, okay, the pay rate, okay, the money there, okay, the cost of making it is not that quite suitable for me to develop towards something that the clients need. For example, the okay, what type of animated, what kind of animation that you like to watch, okay? Let's just say, okay, you watch at Netflix there. Okay, everyone watch Netflix. I basically this one month I tried to stop Netflix, okay, because they give me a lot of laziness, okay, when it comes to do my own works there, right? Okay, I get caught up back again to do some of, just lay back there, okay, too much. So if you watch, okay, some of the animation, for example, on Netflix there, okay, you have to compare one thing only there, okay, how much they get paid from Netflix, okay, to develop all these kind of things, how much fun they have there, right, okay. Those are the first thing there, okay, practically there, okay, unless they actually came from the big studio who have a very massive kind of investor there, okay, who invest in that studio because the investors want to, you know, want to wash their money there, okay, clean their money out there, okay, so they invest to something a bit more legal there, most of the time like that. So you guys can do whatever that you want lah, okay, you can actually do whatever that people actually want to have there, okay, because you have the money, you have the power, you can control the manpower, okay, you can choose also people, the best people to work with your studios there, okay. So if you watch most of the Netflix, okay, most of anime there, for example, there, right, okay, they have that kind of budget there, okay, and huge kind of number of people that can develop basically the projects really well there. And the amount of skill they have from each individual also is really, really, for me, impossible for some of the small companies to work there, right, unless they have a very 12 strong people, for example, there, right. So I will look into more very independent kind of animation styles there. Okay, for me, one of the best animated on YouTube, which is make a lot of revenue, a lot of hopefully income and also profit, right, on the YouTube itself, is this one there. I did, right. When I actually design my works also, I'm going to put into this kind of animations there. Why? Because for me, easy for me to control my team, which is can be developed into more valuable kind of qualities of the motion from those animations, not only a static kind of motions there. All right, those are the things that I find quite interesting here. All right, so animations really smoothing, right? Even though the characters very simple, and you can see how much revenue and also subscriber they have, around 18.1 millions there, okay, subscribers there for almost 10 years, I think, right? So the viewers also, all right, okay, this is 10 February today, right? Today 10 February, yesterday, right? It's almost 300,000 there, right? Okay, viewers there. So they can make more revenues on the advertisements, I believe, okay, from this content, okay. And also it's fun to watch there. And for me, for animate, it's quite easy to execute. The only crucial thing is it's all about content and storyline, that's all. All right, so we have to be realistic with what we want to do, okay. That's basically, you have to ask yourself when you design your works. Realistic means that you can give the best that you can bring into your tables there on yourself. All right, those are the best thing there, okay, that you can develop from there. Because this kind of two students that I have, basically two guys there, okay, what I actually saw there, right, okay, the things that we can learn from here, even though they have actually learned degree and going to have a final year, they still doesn't know, okay, what basically they need to apply on their projects. They're still in the very kind of like floating there, okay, on themselves there. But I try to help them, okay. My job is to help them. I just want to share you guys, because hopefully you guys really can develop also from here and understand, I can develop yourself from here. You need to understand which area that you can go through, and even though in illustrations, which type of tools that most suitable for you to execute your assignments there. It doesn't have to be Photoshop directly, and you can use AI directly, and you also can use other kind of tools if you want to, as long as you can actually emphasize on the skill of illustrations, your illustration skill there for these semesters. All right, so basically what I've done, okay, the tool is going to be the same, but the way that I execute that, okay, this kind of techniques which is I actually use, I try to use a lot of outline, but very sketchy kind of line. At the same time, I change all the colors according to the elements from the subject itself there, okay. And I'm using a very sketchy kind of line, very my rendering also very roughly, but I'm still actually applying and maintain the alignment, the proportions, okay, on the faces there, okay, on those subject matters there, okay, and bring over into the styles of illustration for any, what we call that kind of titles that we going to have in the futures there. This is one of it only there, okay. And I would say this I try to adapt it. One of the technique that we used to work with color pencil, and combine with soft pastels and watercolor at the same time there, okay? Watercolor at the same time there. But I'm using the simple brushes there, okay? Yesterday, basically, I'm using the Photoshop 7, not CS. They have the brushes is as similar as this Cal Ultimate Pencil brushes, which is the all-media wet flow brush. And of course, okay, the soft brusher that I use, basically, I'm controlling my flows really minimum there, okay, really minimize the flows. And of course, okay, I'm using layers and lassos at the same times there, okay, to work with it and mixed up together there. It doesn't have to be the whole thing. When you draw outline, you have to draw using black colors there. You can use brown, you can use dark kind of blues or maroon there, okay, just to give more kind of varieties of your presentation at the same times. The technique sometimes doesn't have to be complicated there, guys. Don't have to be fancy enough, okay, but how you execute them, all right? Those are the things that really matters here. Yesterday, basically, I actually have shown you guys, right, how actually I work with this kind of thing, is it?
Yes.
Okay, good. So do you have any questions about it there? Okay, most yes?
The size, like, does it
Okay,
need to be with the head? I mean, does it need to be full body?
Yes, full body is better
Full
there,
body.
because you can actually write, develop basically your understanding to get the right kind of proportions.
Okay.
Okay, those are the reason there, okay? Because if you don't actually draw the human body, okay, and also you have to remember, okay, because a lot of people make mistakes there. When they actually work with this kind of caricatures, they always try to maintain the head a bit more, not too big than the body there, okay? You have to exaggerate a little bit more, all right? Exaggerate a little bit more from there. Okay, guys, okay, from here, okay, I want to show you guys today, and at the same time, I want you guys to practice around 45 minutes, okay, even though I'm going to explain and working with this kind of the AI version for these subject matters here today for demonstrations, okay, to add some coloring shapes there, okay, and I want you guys to see how it works. But I want you guys in this 45 minutes of our time to sketch, to design your caricatures, and then submit in our Google Classrooms, okay, by the end of our sessions over here. Because I want to see how well basically you guys have been working on for the first stage to develop your understanding by working at the same kind of work that we have done here. Okay, this is one of the work that from your friend there. Okay. I want to see how actually you execute them there, okay, first, and then you can have some colorings there. Okay, this is one of it, right? Okay. This is from Jingwei, all right, Jingwei kind of work. I want to see how you work with those kind of strokes, the line works. At the same time, if you look closely, okay, a lot of people doesn't actually have the right kind of understanding to develop the hairline properly there, okay? When you draw the hair like this one, okay, what happened at the back there, right? Is there any hole right here, or there is a hair at the back there, okay? So think about it logically. We're not just tracing them. We draw on top of it. Okay, those are the things that matters, okay? When you design, develop your kind of concern when you start to produce your kind of illustrations. Okay, this is from Xiumin there, right? So the first tries of caricatures there. So it can be improved more on the strokes and line here. Right, the line and strokes, okay, the way that you draw the lips and mouth also had to be improved there later on. All right, look how actually she's draw the eyes there, right? Okay, the eyes look a bit more like a cross eye rather than the normal kind of eyes there. When you draw different way of outline there, okay, you can actually try to clean up the line really well there. Okay, so 45 minutes of our times, okay, during my sessions over here when I actually design those kind of what we call that. You guys can see my screen there, right? So when I actually start to work with this particular kind of illustrations here, the sketch line over here. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm using pencil tools. I want you guys to draw also at the same time, right? By the end of the sessions, produce one sketch. You can try to work with this kind of style at first by not exaggerating too much, or if you want to experiment yourself to exaggerate a little bit like this, go ahead. And if you seem have those confidence, you can actually try to make it a bit more simplified, stylized kind of cartoon styles like this, based on your face. All right. So those are the things we can do there. Okay, guys. So now I'm going to work on myself here. All right. I already record that, right? Okay. So start to work there, guys. Okay. 45 minutes starts to work the full body of caricatures and send it over in our classroom, okay, by the end of the sessions. So I'm going to use these pencil tools to draw. Okay, one of the good things that we can actually work with AI like this, and pencils, because they're going to make my works a bit more quick there, okay, faster there. That's basically one of the reasons I'm using tablet there, okay, to work with it. So right now, you guys can figure it out, okay, whether you're going to use black colors or dark brown. Normally, I'm going to use dark brown, okay. I'll try to avoid using the same kind of methods there, okay, in order to execute those kind of color methods, coloring techniques there. Okay, the line works like this. Either I can use the line. Some people using outline there, like this one, strokes, outline strokes like this one, and they're going to use outline strokes there, combine like that. Okay, some people that they love like that, right? They used to look like that there. So I'm going to combine so we can see basically the line works a bit kind of, there is a quality of line together there. Okay, so it will make yourself more easy for you guys to work like this. All right, using the strokes, then path, outline strokes, and then using the call that the direct selection tools. We combine the point over here to make it the line a bit look like the shape of this line have this kind of what we call the quality of line that we want there. Okay, just like drawings there. That's basically one of the old tricks that I've done before using those kind of, when I'm using those kind of what we call the AI here. Okay, so I use, okay, frankly speaking, I used to love using and work with the AI before, okay, when I was like your age, and it's like you guys, but not too early there. Okay, when I actually have explored some of the things there, right? Okay, and not many jobs that I do right now is required for me to use AI all the time there, right? Okay, so I kind of lose a little bit on my patience there, passions there, right? Okay, not patience, passions, using this kind of applications. Okay, so this happens to me, right? I can share. And suddenly I lost my passions there, okay, on AI there. But I heard if you're using what we call that, if you guys were using basically iPad Pro, okay, one of my friends used iPad Pro there, okay, wasn't that? And he actually AI kind of junkie, vector junkies there, okay. Most of his work, if he using what we call that computers, okay, or digital, okay, we are going to using AI, what we call the illustrators there, or vector kind of based kind of applications there, right? He's basically is a vector junkie there, okay, but I'm not. Work according to the practicalities or what I felt enjoyment, okay, when I actually work on that. Okay, do I feel enjoy work on that? So I will work on that, okay. based on my own kind of what we call that. Can I say intuition, right? Maybe, huh? Right, those are the things there. So, but for you guys, I would say it's quite early if you want to choose, okay, whether you like this one or like that one, okay. But you're still learning there, okay, and try to get as much experience if you can. If you choose too early to, it's like relationship there, okay. For example, you build up those relationships with someone, and you're too early to back off, okay. Even though at the first place you like it that much, okay, unless they don't have any response to you, okay. Even though friends, right? Okay? Not only a close relationship there, okay, but friends there, okay. Your friends, okay, you try to be friend with someone there, okay, but they don't intend to have the chemistry with you. Why bother, okay? Just leave him or her, okay, and look for someone else there, or you can actually survive on your own there, okay? Simple as that. But if you think that you can build a relationship with someone there, okay, your friends, your families, your siblings, your partners there, okay, maybe there, okay, someone that you fall in love, okay, if they also can invest their time for you, you should invest the time from them, okay, both commitment, right? Simple as that. Same goes to design, the tools there. If the tools that you use, it's quite practical and they can give you a bit kind of the way out, breakthrough to your design's kind of understanding and senses there, okay? Stick for it first and explore a bit more and try to see something that actually can be developed from that particular kind of tools here. It can be like that, okay? So this is one of the way, I think one of the quickest way to works. Back in the day, I'm using pen tools, and sometimes I'm using this, what we call that, these shapes. I'm design basically the line itself there, right? See, like that. Then I'm going to select eyedroppers right here, okay? Sometimes I'm using this kind of methods there. I don't know the new kind of tools that I have here there, okay? Sometimes it's quite difficult there, okay, for me to execute with some of the, what we call that, change the point, the size of point like this one there, okay? The new formula, okay, the new kind of versions, okay, the new versions of this, what we call that AI there, okay? So that's why I changed the way that I'm using them, using the stroke first, and then I create the outline strokes at the same time there, okay? It's going to be the same there. But this one, basically I can control a bit more. I love to control a little bit on my works there. That's why when I come to design some of the graphic novels there or comics there, okay, or design itself, okay, if I can control the whole process from the beginning until the end, I will do it, okay? But if I have someone actually can I trust and to work with, then I'm going to give a little bit kind of freedom for and trust for my colleagues or my kind of what we call it, sometimes animators. Like I used to have that animators there that I love to work with this guy, okay? They know basically what I want, okay? And they can drive a bit more on my kind of visions that I have, right? So I give them the character, the design, the files that I actually have been, what we call that, developed there, okay, for the pre-production works. And this kind of person basically can carry back again, can drive back again my kind of visions there, using his own way, but it's a bit kind of practicals there, okay, practicals that works. I'm always afraid when that kind of sound happens, the connections will lost there. All right. So for me, AI, if you have the right kind of tools, if you have the right kind of what we call that way of working, it's going to be fun there. Okay, it's going to be fun here, right? Okay, to work with. But from here, from my sketches, basically, right, I will try to improvise a little bit. I'm not actually try to trace the whole thing based on my sketches there, but I try to improvise along the way. So that's how actually we do the job there, guys. Okay, try not to only using exactly what you sketch, because sometimes our sketches, you know, they're right, it's quite rough. So I kind of love to what we call that, clean up and also improve a lot of my design works from computers there, right? Okay, when I'm using computers there. So back in the day, normally, okay, I sketch a few rough kind of works, and then when I actually start to design, start to illustrate back again in that applications, I will basically going to see. It's hard for me to continue to do those kind of what we call that. I want to have that kind of what we call the adjustment there, okay? All these kind of methods of adjustments, okay, guys, and try to refine back again your kind of mistake from those visuals were really a part of those skills that you have to work, all right, during your kind of process of development here. Okay. One of the things, okay, if people say, okay, I heard that, okay, your friend yesterday, maybe I don't have any patience, right, okay, all this kind of stuff, they're right, come on, they're right. You're the one who control your life. So you have to build up that kind of patience, no matter what it takes. Don't leave it there, okay, just like, okay, I'm not good at it, okay, so let it be like that, okay, just let all those kind of negative things happen there, okay. It's not that good, guys, okay. Please don't do that, because you put yourself in a very low level kind of thinking there, okay, not high standard kind of thinking there, right? The way that you came, I believe your parents, your kind of surroundings, my surrounding also nowadays there, right, okay, they have a certain kind of high level kind of thinking. Oh, I want to be like this, I want to do like this, I want to have this kind of thing. Right, normal kind of thing, right? But why you have to put yourself in the low levels there from what you actually have been go through before, right? You actually have a lot of difficulty, I believe, okay, when it comes to develop your kind of experience when you learn graphic design, right? Why basically you have to give up there. I'm not give up on you, right? Why you have to give up on yourself here? You still can actually fight for it, right? Is it true? And then give up on yourself there. Try to fight back again, okay, from what you guys have been going through there, okay? Always think there, okay, why you actually, right, in the first place choose this kind of, why you choose to be here there, right, okay, for the first place, and you survive there. Some people, they basically, I know they're, okay, students, barely to survive there. Right? Is it true, Win Han? Win Huen?
Yes.
So work on that, right? Okay, have fun with it. Whoa, whoa. This is a new thing that happens here. Suddenly the line strokes over here, right? So I'm not actually touching AI quite some time there. Those are the things that I actually can share, okay? I'm not using AI quite some time there, right? But when I actually develop back again that kind of skills, styles, and approach, it's all bring back again my kind of memories there using AI, that kind of things there. This one. Sometimes what I can do, right? Okay, if I lazy enough to works like this, right? And we can actually reflect. Okay, then rotate a bit. There. So now the head, right? First of all, can draw the head there first, or maybe I draw the eyes there. Complete some of the things, okay, that you can actually do that first. Okay, if you seems like confirm with all these kind of shapes that you have been working on there right now, okay, select all, Control A, you group that first. The next thing is I'm going to draw the pupil. You can draw using the circle shapes, or you just can draw like this one there, right? Okay. All right, now I'm going to use the same and put it right here. Distort a little bit also can, right? So from here, basically, you learn also how to organize basically your understanding by design a few kind of what we call that. When you design them, right, you try to organize the kind of alignments that happens from here there, right? Okay? So right here, adjust a little bit, center back. Okay. The pupil also there, okay, that you draw, you can actually redesign based on the color combinations that you find quite interesting for you to explore. Okay, try not to become average when it comes to design the colors there. Use the combination of your understanding when you learn the, what we call that, the color studies there, right? Who actually teach you color studies? Who really taught you guys color studies there?
Mr. Chin.
Mr. Chin, right? Okay. He's very quite senior, right? Huh? So you should actually have a very good privilege there, okay? Learn from him. So use color studies kind of methods or experience that you guys have. Manually there, right? Using manual there, right? You blend all those colors there, right? So what you can do here, okay? Can you see that, okay? The design, what I love about AI, because the design look very neat, clean, okay? And what I felt when I used AI back in the days, if I can't actually get the right kind of clean kind of strokes, like a professional kind of line, okay, back in the days, okay, AI can help me to work on that. But when I actually learned from some of my friends who actually can clean up the line well, as I actually have shown you guys before, like this one using Photoshop, okay, so I mix them up together there. So I also kind of learn a lot from my colleagues, from my friends, okay, which is under me the hierarchy, even though from my what we call that staff that I have, okay, back in the day, okay, who actually under me, okay, I learn also from them a lot, okay. So when it comes to develop the way of illustrating there, so I'm going to unite the shapes and send you back. Of course, this kind of shapes you cannot be used the same because the form itself are going to be different there. And the other thing is when you design your illustrations, it's all about creating those emotions, the attitude, the feelings there that people saw from your design there, okay? If you cannot feel anything from that design, from that particular kind of works, there's something wrong with it. You have to think about that back again. So see, I'm not combining all the line itself. Mix them up there. Okay. I don't know about you guys nowadays, okay? Maybe you guys will spend too much time on games and watch some of the movie clips or movies there, okay? I'm also do the same thing there, guys. But I know what I want there, okay? When it comes to studies there, what I want to achieve. That's other thing that you also, hopefully you have there, okay? And at the same time, this is basically one of the valuable skills that you guys can learn before you graduate. So what I can do here, change a little bit, send you back. Right, mouth itself, okay? Change the colors there. If you take a look at how I actually mix the colors there, I kind of very, I don't know, right, the right words, but maybe radicals that I can, when it comes to work with the colors there, I'm not actually using swatches, but I try to mix them up from my kind of understanding by working with those kind of color kind of combinations there, color kind of theories there, warm, cool, and mix them up together there, okay, to give a kind of understanding on that. Okay, what are the things okay we can do? Okay, you want to show the distance, all right, you can use cool colors there from the same color kind of families there, values there, okay, or tone, or change the tone there, okay. You want to make it the whole kind of what we call the subject matter stand out. You have to use all this kind of family color from warm colors there. Simple as that. Okay. But you have to buy practice, right? Okay, practice there, right? So what I actually learned also from when I was studying here, change the, for the thumb, I'm going to use a bit more like very light kind of tone, like a pink a little bit there, okay? Work with this kind of what we call the shapes here. The next thing is right now, right? Maybe I can draw the glasses later on there, okay? I want to draw the shapes of those head there. I'm using only one layers and send to back all the time on the shapes there, okay? There. So I'm going to draw the shapes of those. Either I can actually draw the whole things in the same shapes, or I can separate them. So whatever that you're going to do, always think about design there. We design things here right now. We're not actually just trace them. So all the thing that we've done is by design there. Okay, by design there, right? It's been planned. Either you plan on sketches, on your sketchbooks, or you plan in your head and you apply them back. There. Like this, center back, and I kind of can change the ears colors there. See? I can combine them, or I can actually duplicate them, or I can maintain the record, or working with different kind of shapes here. See? We design things like maybe for some of the reason, right? People will ask, okay, the layman or you over, hey, why actually the ears again different colors there? Why not there, right? Because we actually applying different kind of way, because I want to show some distance there using the colors there. We're not talking about logic, we're talking about design elements there. The principle that can play around with these kind of characters there, right? The visuals there, the illustrations. Okay, I'm not actually talking about how realistic I can do those works, okay, according to those kind of subject matters there, but I'm using color kind of theories to define distance. It's hard sometimes to give some explanation for someone actually who doesn't learn about design there. But in meantime, yes, okay, you can actually write experiments there. So I'm going to use this kind of shapes. I'm not going to use knife tools because I want to cut this one directly, combine this one to cut using this intersect like this. This one can delete there, right? This one I can set those shapes and using this kind of colors for my hair, right? My head directly, and then send it back like that. Okay? And I can actually using gradient tools there also. And let's just say I'm using this one there, right? This gradient tools over here. See? So this one, mix them up with the other kind of colors there. RGB, I believe they're just not the right that I'm using. And then I'm going to start to, so you can see blender, okay, blend it together there. It can be, right? Mix them up there, right? Okay, be more creative to mix them up, okay? So now the shadows there. Working with the shadows, simple there, right? Okay? But it's quite hard if you don't practice your kind of understanding there. So what I can do, if the highlight came from here, for example, we lock the shadows there, okay? So I'm going to add some sort of shadows to this side here, right? I'll look at this side there first. Right? I can use this kind of shadows line if I want to, but I can change a bit. Using hue saturations. All right, change the colors there. Gradient and change that. Now send to back. See the difference there, right? Mix them up, okay? Even though these gradients, we can actually adjust the opacity to blend a bit more. I'm not using gradient mesh because it's going to be difficult for you to adjust later on. At the same time, they're going to make your kind of, we call that files or your illustration a bit more heavier there, right? Okay. So I normally, when I do the works, especially in I try to minimize the using the processes kind of what we call that kind of powers there, right? Okay. Kind of what we call that files kind of things there, right? Okay. That can make your works a bit kind of heavy there in the futures there. When you want to submit your works for your clients or for your what we call that, for the printers, for example, that I have difficulties previously. So that's why I try to minimize a little bit on the usage of those kind of what we call that effects directly on my work. Try to minimize them. So using color pictures, send to back. Right, and then change the directions of the shadows back again. Okay, like this one, and then I can actually make another one directly like this, and then try to right? Make a bit kind of like there is a curve, kind of what we call that structures of shadows from my cheekbone directly, cheek directly. Those are the things here. Okay, so what else that we can do? Okay, some shadows over here that I want to draw, I can if I want to. Some highlight there, maybe I can draw some highlights over here. Backlight there, right? For example, like this. I'm going to cut. I'm not going to use. Some people love to use what we call that masking directly. I'm not a masking kind of guy there, because masking will give a bit kind of complicated for me to change the colors of those, what we call that, elements or the physics itself, like on the works there. So I love to work like this one, if you use AI, and then put some colors there a bit. This one I can arrange a bit more, highlight there, center back. So now I can adjust a bit more there, right? This one I can delete there. This one, I can adjust a bit more highlight over there, see? And adjust the alignment there, right? To make it more better kind of approach here. Same goes to this one. Okay, you guys, Illustrator kind of styles, using those kind of vector-based illustrations like this one. So I'm going to design the shapes for the highlights over here. Okay, there, and center back. So it can be improved a bit more on the line there, right? Okay, just unite them first, then can refine them. Okay. That's a little bit. You can see here, right? Okay. So a lot of interesting things we can do from here. Even though the eyebrows here, they're right, okay? If I'm not satisfied with it, I can actually change. Oops. Oh, yeah. Same goes to this one. Change a little bit. And I can actually add some colors, some highlights, okay? A lot of things we can do from there, okay? One of the best things that you can do, always refer to some of the works that you saw from the internet that can be improved from there. So the eyebrow, or the what we call the pupil over here, the iris and the pupil there, okay? If you want to use, for me, okay, if you have one design like this, right, which I actually quite satisfied, I'm going to duplicate that first, save the files, then I can actually do some changes over here there, okay, to experiment more there, right? And this is what I've done also back in the days, okay, when it comes to do some of the works. I can change the colors there of my iris there, okay, and pupil there, okay. I can use gradients at the same times. I can use radial gradients there. So I can change basically the colors according to what I want, to what I need, basically, okay, on the color combinations. Okay, like this one. All right. Can be. Like that. You can see the difference there if you want to, or you can mix them up there later on. This one, okay, the highlights you can use what you call that, this kind of combinations of colors there if you want to. All right, and then you can actually write adjust into like 0% for the age there, right? Okay, same thing right here. This one, eyedroppers there. You see the difference there, okay, on the presentation itself there, right? Okay, on the vector base there, right, styles there, right? You want to add more and more details right here. There is a shadows maybe you can apply, or you can use gradient there if you want to there, right? Gradients like this, but you change the colors there to show basically the different kind of look and feels there, right? And this one a little bit more lighter there. So it's all about imaginations there, okay, that you work together. Save your files. Now I begin to work with the group them up first. Now you work with the body there, right? With the body itself, I have grouped this one. I can do a lot of things to add some details there, okay? The same principle, the same kind of methods using the shadows there, right? Okay? It's all about how actually going to add this kind of understanding from here. So what I can do right now, I'm going to draw the body. I'm going to draw the shirt itself there first, like this. Okay, what kind of colors that I can use? I'm using my, okay, I'm used to love blue colors there, right? Okay, for my shirts. And what's next that I can do from here? They can be combined together if I want to. You can mix them up, right? Okay. If I'm not going to use the same colors like this, I can do the same treatment like I draw with the neck there, right? Now with the ears there. So I'm using different kind of colors like this. Adjust a little bit and send it back. Kind of colors that I use. Draw those hands there, right? Even though I draw the hands, I can improvise them. My sketch would totally different from my design there, okay? The same design. Even though there's a lot of, if you watch those Pinterest or some of the, what we call that social kind of medias, stuff like, okay, this one, right, is a bit tricky. What I can do, they have a certain kind of what we call that applications service that you can download some of the vector-based styles. You buy from them directly, and you can use them direct. But right now, you as a designers there, as a students, you can do this kind of thing later on in the futures. Okay, right now, you have to redesign it first. Okay, the hands over here, I'm going to use either same colors or different colors, but they're going to be in on top there, right? There. Either I can combine and either I can use the same kind of shapes like this, right? Or I can also use different kind of shapes there later on. I'm going to show you guys later there, okay? But right now I just simplified them, but when we simplify, the logic of those proportions also have to be taken care of there, right? Okay? They're going to look a bit kind of appealing like for the presentations there. So what I can do is I'm going to draw, I'm using short pens like this. What color that I'm going to use here? Blue and combined with what? Okay, these colors, it can be. now I'm going to drop basically my legs there. Because when we create the characters there, okay, we need to improvise from logic there, make it more interesting there. And of course, my leg doesn't look like this one there, okay? But you have to redesign them there, okay? How about the shoes? Okay, maybe I'm going to wear this kind of shoes there. But if you can design some of the shoes, right, that which is your interest, like what kind of sport shoes that you're going to draw there, okay? Work on that there, right? Right now, I try to simplify the things there first. Okay. Almost finished there. The proportion also doesn't look awkward, doesn't look quite missing out of the alignments there at the same times. All right. You're right. Oh. I want to select this part, but I'm not going to use this part over here. And I select this one there, right? So the new feature sometimes a bit kind of crazy there, okay, for me there, okay, to adapt there, okay, because I can actually use a lot of the normal shortcut that I used before. All right, okay, this one, okay, alternate there, happens, combine there, right? Okay, I'm using shift there, okay, group, and bring over here. If you want to use layers, also can, okay. So when I see the alignments is not work well there, so I'm going to change there to make more balance there like this. Okay. So I can add some shadows, same thing if I want to there, right? Okay. For example, here, okay, let me duplicate that first. So now what I can do, this one, and ungroups. Now I can use the shadows there. For example, like this one there, right? Look like just simply work on that, but it's not. I've designed that kind of shadow shapes there, right? Like this, there. Make sure the whole line combined. Put it back over here. Center back. This one, send. Right here. This one I can actually adjust a little bit. It's something like that, but it doesn't look fine, so I delete this. This one I can a bit more darker there, right? Later on I can add some shadows from there. The shadows also I can use gradient if I want to there, right? Like this, I'm using this one. Okay, and then if you want to use the knife tools, I think a bit more easy, but I'm not going to use them. All right, so this part there, okay, the shadows for the pants, what I'm going to do, because the light came over here, so I believe the shadow is going to be fall off right here. All right. So all this kind of way of controlling the strokes, the shadows directly, has to be defined also by practicing and looking into some of the anime cartoon kind of style that you saw, okay, that you actually watch and as they try to improvise them back. You change the shadows line a little bit using hue saturations, send it back. Simplify the shadows there. It can be improved a lot from here if I want to. So let's just say there is a certain kind of negative space from here, right? That I can cut. Add a bit short shadows over there. Using pathfinders, the exclude kind of shapes. It has the shadows there. So the shadow for the hand, it will goes around here directly. For example, like this one. And this side, first, exclude. One can be deleted using the gradient that we have here. Adjust a bit and send it over here and send it back. Yeah, see? So this one also can be add some shadows. Okay. So this part are going to be covered right here. Just simplify them, not too much. Just duplicate, cut, delete this one and put it right here. Maybe adjust a bit more there, right? Even though we can change a lot from there, but at this time, it's okay. I think we're more than enough here directly. Now, even though the shadow should be fall off right here, but I'm going to improvise a little bit. Maybe we're going to use this one there, right? Because I want to mix the directions there because it look more weird directly. And put it right here. And send you back. Move far directly, gradients and change. What else there? Okay, the knee directly. Legs itself, okay? So the legs should be like this. Change, you can improvise there. And then delete and put it right here, right here. The method that I actually use, the same directly. Always use the same kind of methods there. But I improvise according to the shapes here. Right? But this part also the same thing. Okay, to cover these areas there first, and this, and the shapes here. There. You guys get it? The technique doesn't difficult, right? But the only thing is how actually you execute them there. How you actually use all these kind of tools back again that you work with it. We almost, yeah, basically I have complete what we call that, those illustration style for vector base. If I want to group them up like this, if I want to use outline strokes directly, I can use the shapes here and set into outline like this. Okay, the outline there. If I want to make the outlines a bit more thick, okay, this is also one of the tricks that I used before there, okay? A bit more thicker, okay, 5% over there. And I can use the outline strokes over here and put it right here and center back. Center back, adjust a bit there, right? The arrangements. There. So the legs, okay, the shoes basically I can actually use different colors there, right? Okay, to give a bit more kind of contrast here. So right now, overall, you have one design, 3 different styles there in vector kind of approach there, right? There. Okay. So guys, okay, it's all about how smart enough that you're using the tools. It's not how actually you're going to use all this kind of fancy kind of stuff there, okay? The tools that we use is the same, right? Okay? Applications difference, but the tools that I introduce is almost the same, okay? That you guys have been experienced before. But the way that we execute them based on our creativities that works. Okay? Digital caricatures, it can be in various type of way of look and feels there. You guys can actually use this kind of methods there, because from here you can create some sort of like brand icons, logo design, or logo kind of illustrations based on the iconic kind of persons from that brand, and launch it as a part of your design works there, right? Okay. Any questions? From here? You guys still with us, right? All right. Why my camera's there again? Look a bit kind of stiff over here. Way in there. All right, way in. Can you share your screens? And let me have a look, okay? What you actually have been working on. Okay, I want to what we call that. Call your name at the same time over here. Kia Jing Mei is here. Jing Mei.
Yes.
All right. Xitian.
Yes.
Jing
Yes.
Joanne.
Yes.
All right. Ismail.
Yes.
All right. Jesse is here, right?
Yes.
Okay. Ziching.
Yes.
Wayne Xuan. Lo Wing Xuan is here? No. Tok Liang. Leo Allen.
Yes.
Waiki.
Yes.
All right. Wei Teng.
Yes.
Wei Quinn.
Yes.
Michelle.
Yes.
Yuwen.
Yes.
Ping Yan.
Yes.
Wei En.
Yes.
Shu Em. Yvonne.
Yes.
All right. Teresa is here, right?
Yes.
Chung Hua.
Yes.
Wing Huen. Here, right?
Yes.
And Wei Ki.
Yes.
All right. Good, guys. All right. So for those who actually doesn't have a lot of what we call that, if you seems to say that, okay, your skill of drawings is doesn't quite been trained well, okay, in terms of the skills. But what you can do, use the methods of working from that kind of demonstration that I did and transfer them back into the vector-based illustration stuff. Because you have to remember one thing, when we design those kind of what we call that, using the digital kind of tools. One of the reasons why using the digital tools, because they will make our presentation a little more better than the traditionals there, than the previous kind of traditional kind of methods there. That's the reason why we use digitals there. Not because they make it more worse, more uglier, more kind of out of kind of what we call that proportions that we seems to have before when we work with the traditional kind of way there, right? It's supposed to make our work more better there, right? Okay, and our presentations also look more professional here. Those are the things about digital medias. So don't get caught in the moments that you cannot actually improve that kind of presentations way of working with your designs there, right? Okay, so that's basically why we use digitals there instead of traditional methods. Okay, can I see your screen there just now? Who is it? Can you guys share my screen? Okay, one of you guys there. How about you, Jesse there, right? Testing, testing, testing. The connection is okay, right? But my kind of screen's over here, right? My kind of webcams. You see my kind of what we call that webcam, okay? My face, screen frozen, is it? My screen. How about my screen share, okay? Is it froze? Is it? Oh. The whole presentation, is it? Was okay. Oh man. What I can do from here? I'm going to stop recording that first.